Eagles coach Doug Peterson says once again Carson Wentz will be the team's starting quarterback in 2019.
There we go.
Wentz missed the final 3 games of the
Still
regular
up here.
season and 2 playoff games because of a back injury. Nick Foles led the Eagles to 4 straight wins.
I should have done it sideways.
The Saints last
Oh,
weekend.
no.
Foles filled in when Wentz tore 2 knee ligaments in December of 2017 and led Philadelphia to its first
Man, they haven't got
NFL
it back
title since
running.
1960, winning Super Bowl MVP honors and a win over New England. Former Major League pitcher John Wetland is out on bond after being charged in North Texas with continuous sex abuse of a child under the age of 14. The 52-year-old Wetland was MVP of the 1996 World Series with the Yankees. The All-Star closer also pitched for the Rangers, Expos, and the Dodgers. And second baseman Brian Dozier signs a 1-year contract with Washington. This is SRN Sports.
State sports.
2018 was the ending of the Bobcat football career for 5 seniors that played their hearts out throughout high school. We also saw the coming out party for some freshmen, sophomores, juniors that will lead to a bright future for the Bobcat football team. Thank you to Coach Hill and his coaching staff. Our sponsors are proud of you. WOPP is proud of you. Proud to have sponsored the 2018 football season.
Booster Banquet too.
Brought to you by Larry's Prescription.
I play the sports and booster banquet call that way. Yeah.
David's Catfish House.
Op Help and Rehabilitation. Lance Jackson, CPA. Mizell Memorial Hospital. TNC Pharmacy.
Caroline's Country Stores.
Covington Pecan.
Hardee's.
But on Valentine's may end up being a pretty good thing to do.
Corn Beverage
It will be.
Company.
Papa G's.
They may want to think about that all the time.
Revenue Commissioner George Chuck Patterson.
Southern Independent Bank.
The Op Gun Shop. The Op Donut Shop.
S&P Communication.
Air Control. Here on your official Bobcat station, WOPP.
Quicken Loans presents the Sports Flash, driven by Jeep on your hometown station, 1290 WOPP.
Not a bad delay, are they?
Tonight, Alabama on the road in Columbia. They'll take on the Missouri.
95 seconds.
That's pretty fast.
The Auburn Tigers rank 14th in the latest.
Sometimes it's a minute, a second and a half. YouTube.
No,
Sometimes.
this is YouTube. Yeah, it's
fast.
95 seconds.
Baseball team was ranked 22nd in the D1.
Sometimes that'll be up to 17, but now that we're in the mid, we don't have the highest speed, but we don't have the slowest. It's usually about 8 or 9, something like that. But that's what we tell people. They want to compete in games that we do, and you're not, you need to be on YouTube. You have a chance. You ain't got no chance on Facebook.
Now for great deals at the Jeep Start Something New event. I'm Tony Desiri on your hometown station, 1290 WOPP.
The 2019 Op High School Boosters Banquet is Thursday, February the 14th at 7 p.m. at Op Middle School Multipurpose Room. A steak dinner and a chance to win $5,000. Get your banquet ticket from a Booster Club officer. $100 donation, a meal for 2, a chance for $5,000. Go Bobcats!
Yes, go Bobcats. Get those tickets from the officers. I believe got them. Brock and all them got them. Yeah. And it's always a nice night. I enjoy
Good
it.
way to spend Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it is. I am looking at the Mr. Football that was announced yesterday, and it went to former Pinson Valley quarterback Bo Nix.
Yep.
And I think out of the last 10 years, Auburn has signed about 7 or 8 of them.
They have,
Some more.
including this one, and everybody, people that don't know, he led them to a state championship this year, and his dad was the quarterback at Auburn in the 90s,
Wow.
Patrick Nix.
Did not know that. I do know that the brother of Alabama's quarterback was 3rd in the awards.
He was.
How about that? I don't see. I'm looking for Central. I mean that Jamie DeVoe's team is very, very talented, And last I knew, 11 had got commitments from major SEC teams.
They
Is
do.
that
And
right?
they probably don't have one standout.
Okay.
It's just a collection of, sometimes you can be dominant, win a team, and not have a standout player.
Luverne's lineman of the year, Adrian Gregory, is on that list. He must be a hoss.
He was. We played against him in that final game.
Mm-hmm. Has he already got a commitment, or is he?
I'm sure he's going somewhere. I haven't heard yet.
Wow. Complete the list of this is on WSFA's sports page, by the way, if you'd like to catch up with it. And by all means, we encourage you to do so. Well, basketball is in right now. We're going to talk a little bit about Alabama State in just a moment. They have got some new coaches there. The head coach, Don Ely, has announced several changes to his staff. And I don't know him. Travis Person has been promoted to defensive coordinator after spending last season as safeties. Richard Moncrief will be the new face on the team. He is coming to the Alabama State University program. He has coached quarterbacks, served as offensive coordinator. He's returning to coaching after a 5-year hiatus.
Wow.
That can be good or bad.
That's a long time to be away.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that one. But there again, you're talking about Alabama State University, and they got they don't have a much money to offer.
They don't.
Not like other schools.
It's not like a big major school. They're 1 AA.
Yeah, they'll be paying about what the high school coach would get.
Not much more,
Yeah.
if it is that.
Mm-hmm. But they get on the retirement and all that. So I can understand a guy after 5 years saying, "Hey, I'm missing my retirement."
That's right.
Other news faces on that coaching staff with Damon Cordell, Anthony Taylor, Sean Anderson, Benton Harrell, and Lonnie Brown. I think didn't Auburn announce a new coach during the week since we've been on?
I'm not real sure.
I think they've named one, but and then Alabama's named the offensive coach.
Steve Sarkisian, who was
Yeah.
fired by my team.
How about
So
that?
Alabama, y'all can have him because he didn't do squat with the Falcons.
Well, it's going to be different in college.
It is, and it's a different ball game.
And Saban is no matter what anybody says, Saban's in control of offense. No matter whose offense. Ask the last one that was there. And the last 6 of there. But every one of them ended up going to good schools,
Yeah, Lane Kiffin left, and then they had Sarkisian for like a year, and then he came to Atlanta for 2 miserable years. Lord, we miss Kyle Shanahan.
But
now that was an offensive coordinator.
There are coaches that fit for pro. There are coaches that fit for college.
He's a college one.
And there's coaches that fit for high school.
There he is. Some
go from high school to college and they don't fit, go back to high school. Some go from college to pro and don't fit and come back to college. And I admire them knowing they don't fit.
I've seen a few that go to both.
Yeah.
There you've got, Barry Switzer, Jimmy Johnson, Pete Carroll, probably the best 3 examples that went from college to pro. And
that won.
And that won on both sides.
Saban was not really successful at pro.
And you think I ask people sometime, we were talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
What if Saban was with the Dolphins?
What if?
And they were gonna sign Drew Brees.
Uh-huh.
If Brees goes there and Saban's successful with the Dolphins, it's a matter of what is, because there was that time he had been released from San Diego. Brees was going to sign with New Orleans or with Miami, and of course everybody knows now he signed with New Orleans.
So
just think if he'd have signed with Miami, and that means Saban would have kept his job because they would have been. They would have been instantly successful. I mean, Brees is a good quarterback. So and the fact they're still playing proves it. But I guess it just wasn't meant to be. But that was the plan back about 2005.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing, the things goes on, and next few weeks, that's what we'll be talking about, changes in coaching staff.
There's a lot of changes, especially in college.
Mm-hmm.
Even some changes in the pros, even though we're still playing down to the Final 4.
Mm-hmm.
Should be some interesting games on Sunday, because Sunday is win and go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So big time games coming Sunday.
the finals are this coming.
The conference championships.
Yeah, so only 4 teams playing 2 games.
That's it.
Wow.
All eyes will be on Kansas City and New Orleans Sunday.
Be a lot of New Orleans fans. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, there's a lot of them around here. There's no doubt.
Well, it's Southern. That has a lot to do with it right there. But I do remember the days that a lot of us were New York Jets just because Joe Namath was quarterback.
Joe Namath.
The Alabama connection.
The last of the, well, no, Stabler was the last Alabama quarterbacks. He was the second one. Bart Starr being the first one.
Yeah. Stabler was a very popular, well, he was just popular the whole time, even while, after he retired and doing the radio announcing.
He did, and I always tell people it was a shame he had to die to get in the Hall of Fame. Definitely a Hall of Fame. We went 2 Super Bowls in the 70s. You're a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
And with a storied franchise like the Raiders too.
I asked the play-by-play guy for Alabama, because every once in a while Joe Namath would drop in, you know. I said, what do you do when Joe Namath drops in and Stabler's doing color? He said, shut up and let him talk.
He's good at that.
That was really the right thing to do, because he is Alabama. Those two were the Alabama legends, man.
It is.
You know.
So now, yeah.
Namath is still
around.
around.
And you don't see Bart Starr very much.
Although, you know, he's in the business world. That's his thing now. He's been very successful in auto dealership, but he's also been in a lot of other. His wife she dreams up these things for him to get into. I had the pleasure of having lunch with him, you know, and I was sitting next to her, and then Bart was next, and so she'd start telling me things, and then he'd join in. How she roped him into it, blah blah blah. It was just. I wish I had a recorder going.
It sounds like it would be fun. I would, if I ever met, you know, I've seen him in person once.
Super nice.
I was in Montgomery somewhere, and you know, you want to talk about real football? He played some real football because he played for the greatest coach, Vince Lombardi.
I'm sitting there though, right next to his wife, and I know he's in his 80s and she's in her late 70s. She looked maybe in her 50s. I mean, of course, he still was a very athletic looking, you know, because. They do workouts and all that.
I bet he's still in shape.
Yeah, man, I like.
The game, even with older players like that, the game does not ever leave them.
No.
And,
I asked him, did he ever want to coach? And he said, of course, Green Bay, they'd offered him some times, and
I would not have wanted to have to follow Lombardi. I bet that was what he was offered.
I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. And he said he taught to the University of Alabama. I can understand that too. But he said he was so scared that they was trying to capitalize on his name instead of his ability.
That's right.
He said, I don't think I really had the ability.
Yeah, and a lot of players just aren't meant to do it. And I can think of some right now that have tried to be head coaches and it does not work. But most of you coaches, I've noticed, especially in the pros, most of you coordinators are former players.
Yeah.
But most of you head coaches, that's what they would want to do. And
many of them just linemen, the head coaches.
A lot of them are.
That's all. They played the sport, but never was the quarterback, nothing like that. They were
they were just, and that just, usually the head coach, especially in the pros, I don't know if it's in college, the coach is more in control. In the pros, it's more the coordinators because they don't have the communications in college like they do in the pros because they can talk directly to the quarterback. The quarterback has a headset in his helmet, so the coordinators talk directly to them. It's not like in college where you have to send the play in or it's a totally different ball game.
Do you think college will go that way eventually?
I think eventually but if the schools like Alabama and Auburn get it, then the schools like Alabama State and all them are going to have to get it.
Yeah, hurt them overhead.
It will. I think if the big schools get it, they're going to have to give it to the little schools too.
Kind of getting on the high school about a playback too.
They do, and that they're wanting to introduce it, which they did have it last year. And,
those that could afford it.
And
agreed.
And they did. And the one, and you had to install all this and that, but it's going to get to the point where if they really want to push it, they're going to have to open up and just let everybody have it. And just everybody films them.
I was going to say, Opp is setting in a good shape to do it, but I think Opp just wants to feel it and see what happens.
And the thing with op doing it is, you know, we have somebody recording the games. You know, was do you think
Which did it
this year? But every school, even the bad ones, have somebody filming the game. Teams that don't win, you know, I know, you know, we didn't win.
Usually a parent. Be honest.
But there's always, I mean, even like your Bullitt counties and schools like that, they have somebody filming the game. You can easily go back and look. It doesn't cost much to attach a camera to a monitor and go back and look at the previous play.
Because those cameramen start when the clock starts and they stop when the play ends, and they wait for the next play.
So they get it. They do get it, and you can stop it and start it.
May not have the right angle. That'll be the biggest thing.
And that's why if you have two angles, and it might take having another referee in the press box, just for that. I mean, there's two of them up there already.
Oh yeah.
You got one for the clock and one for the 25-second clock. So you could have both of them look at it.
I think agreement on both of them should be it.
That should do it.
If either one disagrees, that's it.
Yeah.
It takes agreement on both.
Yeah, if they agree with both, the call's overturned. That's all you can do. I think most of the time they're going to agree on it. I think that would be the simple solution right there.
Sure. Yeah, you don't need a third person. Just go. If they agree, then it's it. And if they don't agree, that's it.
That's true.
And it's got to be. It's got to be It's got to be like it is in playback on college and all. It's got
to be irrefutable proof.
Yeah.
Or it's
if it's iffy, so close, you say, ooh.
You got to go with the call on the field.
You say, I think he didn't, but you say, well, we got to go with the call. I can see that too.
Yeah, and unless there's inconclusive proof to overturn, then you go with what's on the field. I mean, I've seen calls in games where you look at it on television and you wonder, what did they see?
It's not like the ball game we lost in the playoff, but
now that one would have been overturned
in a hurry.
That one would have been overturned. That's the whole reason for it.
It's what started it, didn't it?
And I think that's what got the ball wrong. That girl at Charles Henderson, I don't know why we didn't just go over the HSA's head with that.
Well,
they did, and they got her reinstated, which was a joke that she was suspended in the first place.
Well, they got a hearing next week. She's completed then, but also it woke up the Alabama legislature, and now they're going to put Alabama high school athletic to have to report to them.
I did,
and that's good.
This is something that's been long overdue. They need.
They're too powerful.
They need somebody in Montgomery, in the state capitol or something, to regulate, a committee of some kind to regulate what goes on. Because this right here was this. I mean, I've talked about it at both the last two games we've had. People doing the scoring and everything. I mean, we've talked about it, and the fact they kept her from playing is ridiculous.
Well, it's very obvious the USA was guilty. USA should have never sent the check out. They had an incompetent person doing the checks and didn't do the due diligence, and they admit it.
And they did. And the girl did nothing wrong. I mean, she took it, but from what I read, they made sure that it was okay, and it was for wages lost. Apparently, she probably has a job, and that's all they were doing.